everybody. My name is Chris Winter. I'm the CEO of Reach. Today, I'd like to introduce you to a very special person. We brought her on to actually be the developer relations, be our voice and help inspire and give guidance to the new developers coming into the blockchain space to give them ideas on things to build and answer any questions that they might have. But what I thought would be great is if we went ahead and did a fun, casual interview, maybe ask some personal questions, ask some blockchain questions, and really kind of just get to know Bebe. But first, before we dig into the questions, Bebe, if you could just give an intro about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm Bebe. I worked in marketing for a really long time and then made the transition into tech about 5 years ago. Got into the development side obsessively, I would say, where I became partner at a tech startup where we did a bunch of emerging tech. And in 2020, when the pandemic hit, things kind of changed. So I pivoted. I ended up finding this lovely company here, and it's been a match made in heaven ever since.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Okay, so why blockchain? What attracted you to this industry?
So I started to learn about blockchain several years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And, Bitcoin had been around for a while, but nobody in my circle necessarily was into it. So, you learn from things by exposure. And eventually my cousin just ended up who was working at Uber at the time, was working on a blockchain project for Ethereum. I was really interested in that. I became an early token holder or investor of Ethereum. And I started to learn more about the possibilities and its goal and how it would be kind of more of a freestanding form of part of our economy. And I thought that was really valuable because I think that's needed at this point, just in our financial climate as a country and internationally. So I think it's unlimited potential. I think it's going to solve a lot of problems, and I think it's going to help neutralize a lot of the banking and financing around the world. And since I've always worked in emerging tech, I feel like this is one of the emerging techs I really know nothing about. So for me, I always like to learn the hard things, and this is one of the really hard things that the more I learn, the more I realize I know so little. In just working with you for a week, I realize how wrong I have been about my conceptions about blockchain. And yeah, there's a lot to learn. And if I'm feeling this way, how many other people are feeling lost and confused, but still want to be involved? So I feel like it's kind of like my mission to help bridge that gap,
That's awesome. So yes. Kind of switch a little bit more personal. Like what things do you value most? And why do you value those things?
I really value peace of mind. I think as you get older, those are things that matter to you. Just feeling like I'm good with my family, I'm good with my friends, everyone's healthy, everyone's okay. And I know it sounds so simple, but really it's like, that's what brings me peace of mind. I have a dog. She's great. So she matters a lot to me. I like having free time to work on my hobbies. I just kind of like to live a pretty structured life. And I know life is messy. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, but really just kind of having the freedom to come and go as I please, a job I want. Like, I just feel like I'm finally in a place where things are pretty good. Like I've hit a lot of goals. I'm in my 30s now. So it's really nice to see all of that and like enjoying the fruits of all my hard work in my 20s. So, I'm also, kind of like a new minimalist. My boyfriend's a big time minimalist, and he's rubbed off on me in a really good way. So for me, material things are not as satisfying or desirable as they used to be. Don't get me wrong. I still own stuff and I like things, but they don't really carry the same value for me anymore. It's about the experiences and the people more than anything.
Wonderful.
Personally.
So you mentioned hobbies. What are your hobbies?
Yeah, I'm really into art. I was a working painter when I was in high school. I love sculpting. I like making little miniature sets, and I like making dog accessories. I'm really, really into dogs. So, yeah, I like to go do urban exploring too. So, like local buildings. I love to visit mom and pop shops, and I'm really into DIY at home stuff.
That's great. How do you see blockchain merging with your hobbies at all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I see kind of blockchain being integrated in so many things, even just for simple transactions. So yes, I know that we're hearing a lot about NFTs and, officially owning on record artwork, for example. So I think that's a good thing. That's going to help a lot of artists. It's been bringing a lot of attention to the possibilities of blockchain. There's so much more to it, but I think that's a good place for people to start, at least to get interested. But yeah, transactions, if I sell like a dog collar or something, that could be a transaction done over the blockchain. I mean, it's completely relevant. Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. So you mentioned that you didn't start off as an engineer. I mean, you just said that you start off as a more artist and you were in marketing, but now you're an engineer. You've been an engineer for the last, I believe, 4-ish years. What struggles did you have to actually overcome to finally become comfortable as an engineer?
Oh man, I don't think you ever get comfortable, Chris. I swear, like you just don't. There's so much to learn. It's an infinite valley of information. But the barrier to getting into it, especially coming from such a creative place where things were more abstract for me, like color, art, I'm sure somebody could look at that and say, oh, I could apply some kind of math to this. But for me, it's like, oh, I just like the color. It feels good. I'm just going to learn how to draw this shape. It's very different than engineering. And I did start journaling early on when I started making that transition. And some of the things that I noticed were there are so many things either are or they aren't in programming. And it's added so much structure and so much, there's like no randomness in life. Everything is connected. And I think as a creative, that's such an incredible epiphany. That's such an amazing perspective to have, because sometimes the creativity can be very overwhelming, and you just keep going. You don't have structure. A lot of creative people I know, that's, if you talk to them, a lot of their main struggles are that there is no structure. They don't know how to handle things. It's really overwhelming. So yeah, programming has given me kind of like, it's made me flex the other side of my brain. So it's given me more balance, but also structure and building processes and things like that. Things I never thought in my life that I'd be able to do. Like when I was young, this is kind of personal, but when I was 17, I was professionally hypnotized because I wanted to be more organized. It helped a little, but I would say learning programming probably helped the most.
That's fun to find out. I never knew that you were professionally hypnotized. Do you find yourself like randomly barking like a dog or clucking like a chicken?
No, it wasn't like that. It was a little bit more serious. It was like a clinical setting. So
as far as maybe
as far as I know,
maybe they
who knows
snuck
what
something
he did.
in.
I did go under. He did have me go under, but he had that thing, but it was like a little, do you remember the ice cream truck when you would get like the little army men with a parachute for like a quarter? He had something like that. It was the weirdest thing. I think that was intentional. So he like had that and he's like, okay, revert back to your childhood. It always starts in your childhood. You know what I mean? So I just remember that vividly. And then an hour had gone by and he was tapping me on the shoulder. And then I woke up and I was perfect. It was the weirdest thing.
Just like that. Nice.
Just like that. All you have to do. One session.
I'm gonna put you to work already. What bit of information would you give to developers that are just starting to get into the blockchain space? What's the if you had to say one tip, what would it be?
I would say get to know your communities. I think everybody here has heard of Reddit. For me, I spend a lot of time on there because I think it's an unregulated voice, except for the mods, of course. But you can really learn a lot and learn from the authentic discussions that are happening there. Your local communities are a great place to start. And if there are any terms that seem unfamiliar to you, just Google them. You'll find whatever you want. And I promise you'll eventually start piecing things together. But it is a little bit of a lot of unknown. And, but yeah, people are so friendly so far from what I've met. And I think everybody just wants to help everybody because it's so new. Everyone has to work together to bring it forward, So join a community on Reddit and just start posting questions, reading. You can do your own independent research, if not just to understand what it's capable of,
Right on. So, like I said in the beginning, your job is to help people. How, if a developer wanted to get help from you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, they could reach out to me directly through Discord. We have a server and a live channel. Jay and a couple of the other developers are really active in helping everybody. So like really, we kind of set it up so we can just hold your hand through the process. I know that we have a tutorial, which is great. So it's a good jumping off point, but we have content that we can walk you through that really is, as far as we know, it's a work in progress, is to break it down and make it as easy as possible. And we are available. So
wonderful. Well, thank you. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't want this to be long. Like I said, I just want people to get a chance to get to know you a little bit. I'm sure they will get to know you more and more as you release more videos. And just thank you so much for joining the team. And I personally am excited to see the type of content you create.
Thank you so much. My dog is going to be in it a lot. I hope that's okay. I hope we have some dog lovers in there.
I'm sure there will be. All right.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Well, have a great day. And I'll see you in Discord and I'll talk to you in Slack and everything of that sort. So
I'll talk to you soon, Chris. Bye.
Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4.